of the challenges we have with this enthusiasm for electric vehicles is the advancements being made with combustion engines, the research being done isn't being recognized. I've heard so many times that the ICE engine's dead. There's no more research dollars going to internal combustion engine research. And that's why we did this paper, because I wanted to understand, is that true? And what our researchers found when they first did the search of journal entries, they found more than 2,000 journal entries on recent research on combustion engines. I think what we're running into is this path towards decarbonization is being classified by some as the path to electrification. Electric vehicles are a tool to reduce carbon, but they're not the only tool. And so what we're trying to do with research like this paper is to open up the dialogue, to talk about the fact that we can actually have a meaningful reduction in carbon emissions today without having to wait for fleet turnover to a new technology.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with everything. There's a lot of groups right now that are so entrenched, or they're becoming so entrenched in electrification, they're really not seeing the forest through the trees. They don't understand, or they're not stepping back and out of their silos and saying 300 million vehicles on the road today, and the scrappage rates and the turnover rates on those is probably going to get longer, right? Because of the cost of vehicles, and people are going to hold on to their vehicles longer. They're going to be on the road more, and quite frankly, that could mean an impact on emissions, right? The older the vehicle is, sometimes, could equate to a breakdown in emissions equipment. But we really need to stay out of those silos and look at this holistically from a market standpoint, as well as from a total fuel and emissions life cycle. And so when you look at things like biofuels, renewable diesel, biodiesel, ethanol, and you look at the life cycle of carbon emissions from the minute you plant that seed in the ground to processing it to make a biofuel, you're sequestering CO2 from the atmosphere with that plant. You are creating, biogenic carbon, they'll call it. It's not carbon, getting pulled out of the ground that's been there for, billions of years. So there's a lot more to think about here when we look at fuels and what the impact we can have.